We're alive, not really, but for all
I can
intents.
imagine it's early out there right now, right?
Yeah, it's 8:30 in the morning. I'm not a
Okay.
morning person.
Okay.
It's really early for me.
Must hurt a bit. Hence the sunglasses.
Yeah, exactly. That and the reflection from the the screen
Yeah,
looks a little bit better for me. You don't see the bags under my eyes, the tiredness.
man. Well, it's afternoon here, but actually, I'm quite tired
Awake?
myself.
Yeah.
I'm awake, but it's been very busy lately. So, yeah,
Well, it's good to hear. I want to hear all about that. So,
sure.
for people that don't know, and for me and for you, I was introduced. I get a lot. I'm going to be honest. I get a lot of emails from record labels, from managers, from bands, even from different people that send me a lot of music, right? And a lot of stuff can come in, and you can miss a lot of things too.
I can
And
imagine. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, there's always something to find. There's some great hidden gems in the rocks, right? But you never know. But your record label, Wormhole Death, and Natasha, and all the beautiful people there got out to me and sent me music by the band Black Nazareth, and I thought, "What's this?"
Yeah,
And I clicked on your first song at that time, which was Heroes, and
yeah.
I was like, "Wow, this is unlike what I've heard in a while. This really got my attention." So. And then I heard Cold as Stone or Cold Stone. What's the other one? Stone? I can't remember the name of it now. It's not in front of me. It should be. It's early. There's a couple.
All Stone is the one.
Yeah.
All Stone is the one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Cold as Stone. Yeah. So I heard that too, and I just thought, wow. I mean, it's really surprised me. It's blowing me away. So I wanted to know more. So that's why I have you here. Menno, if I'm saying your name right, of course I'm bad with names as
No, yeah,
well.
that's
Menno.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's good to have. You're the guitarist in the band Black Nazareth, correct?
That's right. And one of the founding members. I started it out with Henry, really. Uh, but I'm mainly the guitar player, and well, up until now, I wrote pretty much, the biggest chunk of like the music. Although we finished it all together, though. I mean, it's really a band effort in the end. But the songs that are out now are based on like ideas I had lying around together with Henry. So yeah.
Henry is the singer, correct?
No, Henry is the bass player and he's also like co-producer. And he writes a lot of the lyrics. You know, so that's Henry's the bass player. Then we
So
have
who is in the band then? So introduce me to the rest of the band. Who's in it
the
right
rest
now?
of the band is like is Daniel de Jong on lead vocals. He's the vocalist. He's from you could know him from a band called Textures, the math metal band that has been you know they've been pretty popular like through the years. They're pretty big. Do you know them?
I don't. I haven't heard that name. You said
Check out
Textures?
Textures. Yeah, you should
Textures?
check them out.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll have a
it's a
look.
big name. It's a big name in like the math metal, prog metal scene.
Okay.
But so that's Daniel de Jong, and then we have Martijn Spierenburg, the keyboard player from Within Temptation.
Okay. I've heard of that band.
Yeah, and well, I'm actually mainly known for my work with the band Focus, the old prog rock heroes from the '70s, and
Okay.
we're still touring a lot around the world. Uh, that's mainly the band that made this record. We have Ernst van A, who is a famous metal drummer here in Holland. He played drums. For the live band, we don't know yet exactly who's going to like join us, but there is like one choice already, and it would be great if that's going to work out schedule wise. So that's about it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. If I have my details correct, the band formed in 2017. Is that right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't quite a band yet back then. It was more like I was touring a lot with Focus, but I had all these ideas lying around, for like maybe my own record or something like that, and it was like just piling up, man. It was just like so much. And I was like, I need to start doing something with
Yeah.
this, like, and it was mainly just, like prog, hard rock kind of riffs and ideas, chord structures and
Right.
progressions and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I was
Writing
like,
songs and kind of keeping them for yourself and seeing what you want to do with them.
yeah, just not taking the time for it. And I was like, okay, I had a bit of a break then, and then I was like, okay, I need to like work on this. And I was immediately thinking about Henry because Henry and I used to work very well together in a death metal band called Threnody, a Dutch prog death metal band. You can find that on Spotify as well. You should probably check that out as well, Jack.
I will.
That
Yeah.
was like a death metal band in the '90s that we did,
Okay.
um, and that was released through Massacre Records back
Oh
then.
wow. Okay. So it
Yeah,
made it so you had some distribution in America then, in North America.
yeah, and I think it's been released in Japan as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that was quite successful back then. Yeah, so we wrote together very successfully back then. So I was immediately thinking about him, because we share the same tastes when it comes to writing music and stuff like that.
Right.
So, and that just was great. We just banged all the ideas, and we were like, well, we really need to do something with this. And first of all, it was like, okay, what are we going to call ourselves? Are we going to like just go back to Threnody, or is it time for something new?
Right.
And I just thought it's time for something new. Henry wasn't quite ready for that change yet because he was so dedicated to that band also back then. It's like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
his identity also,
Yep.
right? So
Makes sense.
so it took a while. We were thinking about getting that old vocalist René Scholte back for a bit. And I was like, I always wanted to work with Daniel de Jong. I always thought he was a great vocalist. And I knew Textures had quit. And I was like, Henry, I would really love to just like, get him over here, see what he can do with it,
Right.
And around the same time, we were just like, Henry decided that it also should be like a new band, a new thing. And Black Nazareth is actually the title of one of the instrumental tracks of Threnody back then.
Okay.
So we kind of like thought about like, well, that could actually really be a really cool metal hard rock, band name actually,
Yeah.
right? And then we just got to think about that whole concept like around it, and we were like, okay, we're both from Schiedam, that's our hometown. Schiedam used to be called Black Nazareth back in like late 19th century, beginning of the 20th century.
Oh really? In the
Yeah,
Netherlands there where you are. Oh wow.
yeah. So the Dutch
Okay.
name is actually Zwart Nazareth. It used to be called because of the Geneva industry, the hard liquor. It's kind of like gin. It's just distilled
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like, it sounds like it sounds like an alcoholic beverage. It sounds like a drink
Yeah,
or a company,
quite
like
the
a whiskey.
alcohol.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite
Have
the
yourself a
alcohol.
glass of Black Nazareth. Yeah, I got you.
So, well, back in those days, late 19th century, that was like the big industry for this town. It still is actually. The gin is actually world famous. That's like the biggest. Nolet Gin is actually the biggest gin brand out there.
Oh, wow.
Also from Schiedam, right? So
Hmm.
and back then it was so industrial, and there was like hard labor, hard work, hard drinking. There
Yeah.
was like tar all over the city.
Hard
And
partying, lots of
yeah,
music, lots of fun times.
yeah, and it was
Yeah.
like people from like around like other cities. They used to call it Black Nazareth because from like miles away you could see the black smoke from the distilleries just
Oh
hanging out in
wow.
town. And
Wow.
I don't know, it really has this. Yeah, it just suits metal music. It suits hard rock music. And besides that, it's just a fucking great name.
It is. Yeah, I
So
won't. I won't. I'll be total transparent with you. When I first saw the name, I wondered, without even hearing the music, when I saw the name, I thought, is this some kind of amalgamation of the band Nazareth or Black Sabbath together, like Black Nazareth, Black Sabbath, Nazareth? I thought that was kind of something like that. But you hear the music, it's nothing like that. But
oh no,
that's
it's
the
not.
first instinct I had. Is like, is this some kind of mashup?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
actually, they do exist, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
would be fun as well. By the way, that would be
Yeah.
fun. Maybe we should do like one track like that.
Yeah, you can pick a Nazareth song, maybe Love Hurts, Iron Man, Love Hurts, Iron Man, something popular that people
something
would
like that. It
know
would be
across the
interesting.
world. Yeah, that's a
Yeah, it
nice
would.
cover. I'll
Yeah,
take full credit for that if you ever do that.
yeah. Well, you will
It
be
was my
mentioned.
idea.
Yeah, you will be
Yeah,
mentioned. I think it's quite a nice idea.
yeah, I appreciate that.
But that's where the name comes from, and it really does have its own history to it. And
Yeah, that's
we
amazing.
identify ourselves, of course, where we grew up, where we come from.
Right,
I'm
right.
still living there. Henry's still living here. Daniel started actually. He moved back here, not back, but he moved to this town as well. Martijn has got a big history here as well because he used to live here and work here. Within Temptation used to record in Henry's studio over there,
Hmm.
so there is this identity to it that's really just it's a real thing, it's a real deal.
Yeah, there's a cool history behind it. That's very cool. So you had the
Yeah.
name, you had some songs you were messing around with, you had a vocalist, you had a band coming. What was the next step? Did you start actually going to a studio and recording under the name to make an album, or just do some songs? What was the next process?
Well, it's like the studio is called Sound Park, and that's just like that's pretty much just below Henry's house. It's like it's the main ground floor. Used to be a bigger studio, with big table and all that, but he changed all that. So that's kind of like a smaller digital studio with Pro Tools, and that's just where we recorded it all. Really, that's just where we did it. So in our own studio.
Right. Well, if you have a
Yeah,
studio, you can do that at your disposal. That's perfect. And you can
it's
save
great. Yeah,
renting it out, or getting a producer or something, getting engineers, getting people together for that. So that helps,
yeah, and
especially when you're a new band.
Henry is a great engineer. Martijn is a great engineer. I think Martijn is also a very good producer. So we could just do that all ourselves. The next step really was to get Daniel in and see what he could do with it. And he was very interested. So, and I must say, he's a very focused character. And I'm very pleased with that. He sits down and listens to the music. It started out with lyrics from Henry that Henry wrote.
Hmm.
I think Daniel, he wrote some lyrics as well, by the way, for some songs already, and he adjusted a little bit here and there, but he would just sit there maybe for half an hour to an hour, and you you put on the mic in front of his face, and boom,
It just comes
there's
out.
an
Yeah.
initial idea, and it is a great idea. I don't know how he does it, but boom, there it was, and that actually worked that way, all the time, which is really great. So that was the next step. And then I was like, okay, these are going to be pretty cool songs, if we could finish this in a, good way, put a good form around it. Let's make it more like of a classic hard rock / metal band, and just
Right.
create the songs, let's concentrate on actually making songs. And so I think it worked out great. Martijn got in because we were like, well, we need like maybe a little bit of an added opinion on this, and more someone who is a bit more modern than I am, at least. I'm pretty much like classic, and also I play with a band like Focus. It's, of course, that's like a lot of classic vibe to
Yeah.
me.
Hmm.
So and Martijn really is that modern. I mean, he started out also with Depeche Mode and productions
Oh,
like
wow.
that, and he knows how to do that. So he
Yeah.
added a lot of arrangement and a lot of sounds and keyboards, and I think it just sound. I'm very proud of it. So that was just like he got in because of that reason, and we stuck together, and I think it worked out great. I'm very happy with it. Yeah.
So the songs I'm hearing now, the ones I heard, the last one I heard was the Rallying Cry, which is a great anthematic song too. I love that song. We just played that recently on Paradise City. It's a great track. It's got a big, huge chorus. Was that the songs you were working on back then, or is this new songs? Like, where do you have, like, where's the track listing coming from?
Well, the track listing is kind of, we really thought about that for the CD itself, though. I mean, we started out like just putting out roughly one track a month as like a single. So there used to be separate singles on Spotify, and we did that for about a year. So every month there would be a new track, and we would promote it like that on the internet. We just wanted to learn and see like how does this new infrastructure work.
Yeah. What kind of interest would it get? How people are going to listen? How are they going to get it?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what are the paths to take and to get some attention to this. And for some singles it worked out great. For others it didn't work out that great. It was a bit of an experiment. And of course we were like going through the whole COVID times, right? So I mean there
Right.
was not that much that you could do anyway. So to keep a little bit of attention going and see how people would react to the music, it was a good thing to do. But in the end, I was like, and we were all like, yeah, well, this really deserves more attention. And, so we thought like, well, without any press, I mean, we missed the press, really.
Mm.
That's what we missed. That's what we lacked in attention, actually, because it was just fine. It was working fine. But and I mean, the press, they review albums only mainly. So we were like, okay,
Like
there
full
was
albums versus singles, right? And you didn't have a record label at that time, right? You were
no,
just
we
doing it
didn't know.
yourself. So you were kind of
Yes.
just putting it out there as yourself,
Yeah.
and you're trying to get attention for it, which is hard. There's so much out there, as we just
Oh
talked
man,
about. There's so
it's a
much in your face. It's hard to get above, to
it's
get
a jungle
noticed
out there.
above. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You mentioned COVID though, like everything was shut down at that time in 2020. So you guys started working before COVID, but then during that time, what did you just keep working separately and putting things together with Pro Tools? How did you guys
well,
keep in
yeah, yeah,
contact, keep it going?
that was kind of like, we had like lockdowns, and then we didn't for a little bit, and then when there was no lockdown, I would actually meet up with Henry whenever there was no COVID in the house. You know what I mean?
Right.
We could, I mean, it did slow down the process, quite a bit. But I mean, with Pro Tools and programs like that, you can just
Send in files here and there. You can do that now,
oh,
right? You
you can
don't
just
all have
work
to be in the same studio.
exactly. So that's basically what we did. You know what I mean? It did slow down the process, but and we could meet up whenever there was no lockdown as well. So that's how we did that. Yeah, yeah. So
And then, so you mentioned doing one single a month. So in 12 months in a year, you had a full album right there. So what did you do
yeah.
next with the 12 songs?
Well, it was Martijn, I think, if I remember correctly, who got in touch with Wormhole Death. They were showing all of a sudden they were showing interest because they liked the music so much, and they were like, it would be really great to put out an album, and we would love to help you out with that. You know,
Did you
and
submit to them? Did they find you? How did they come on your radar, Wormhole?
I think we pretty much came onto their radar
Okay.
initially.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
but
cool.
I don't know the exact story because this really went a lot through Martijn and Henry.
Okay.
They're a bit of the business minds within this band, so
You're the creative guy. You give them the material
yeah,
to
yeah,
put out there. If it wasn't for
yeah.
your creativity, they wouldn't have the stuff to
Well,
put
I
out
mean,
there, and vice versa. You all help each other. That's perfect.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good mix of crazy people, really.
Yeah. So Wormhole Death comes knocking. You finally get in. They get in touch with you. They love the band. They love the music. They love the
Yeah.
band. Did they suggest doing an album? Your very first one. What was their next step? Did they want to get you doing some shows? What was going on?
Well, the thing, no, initially it was just like, let's put out a record and see how that goes. I think, Martijn actually and Henry, they put up, they were working on that deal, what it should be.
Right.
It's like a license deal. It's only for one album, and we're very grateful to them. I mean, it's great to have something physical out now as well. We're very happy with everything, how it all went down. You know what I mean? Now it's more like a matter of, okay, they've done the work, which we are very thankful of. Now it's more a matter of like, okay, what are we ourselves going to do with it? So I'm also like trying to work out like find out the right booking agency. I've got some lines out,
For the
see,
band to get booked. Yeah.
yeah, see what they can do.
Right.
And the plan is actually to get it live on stage, somewhere next year. Yeah.
In 2023.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also like simultaneously work on, a new real full length album and
So,
actually work on it that way instead of, getting all the singles piled up
right.
together,
Yeah.
compile it, and then, so yeah. Well, Drops of Sorrow was added to it though.
Yes,
That was,
that's another song actually I heard too. That's a great one
that's
too.
actually
It's
a song
different.
that was Martijn's idea, really,
Hmm.
musically. He laid
Hmm.
down that foundation. That's the first song that came mostly from Martijn, and of course, lyrics from Henry and Daniel, and so I was a bit less involved with that song. I think it's a beautiful track. That also shows that there's like we have a lot of opportunity.
Diversity. Yeah. There's a lot of textures and a lot of, if I can use that
Yeah,
word, textures. There's a lot of different layers. There's a lot of different
and we can go like
sounds coming from the band, right? You can't just put it into one kind of category. It's really it covers a lot of ground while staying in the hard rock genre, obviously the classic rock sound, that bass, but it has a lot of exploratory territory. I love it. It's really good from
thank
what I've
you.
heard. So
Actually,
for
I've got some pretty progressive stuff lying around still. That might be interesting to dive a little bit deeper here and there, maybe one or two tracks, like
yeah,
see what else we can do. It's a very interesting thing actually what we've got going on. I think, I think now it sounds more like, it's also a bit like, it came out a bit more commercial than I thought
It has a
also.
straight up hard rock sound. It has that maybe
But I
commercial
like
can
it
be
as
broad
well.
term, but it has that straight up, hard rock. People
Yeah,
can get into that. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. That's a universal kind of
yeah,
sound and genre around the world that anybody can get into, right?
absolutely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love like good short hard rock songs. So I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of that as well.
Yeah.
Growing up with bands like Kiss and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
So
perfect
yeah,
for
I'm
that.
very proud of it. I'm very happy with it. So Wormhole, yeah, they put it out, did all the promo work. We've got some really good, reviews as well now. So people are starting to like notice.
That's good.
And
So
then
for clarity, so people, you have the album. It's called Black Nazareth. It's the self-titled one. It's released recently. It's on. You mentioned it's on physical. It's on CD. Is it on vinyl as well?
it's not final yet. No, no. I would love to see that happening, but I mean
It's very
the
expensive, but it'd be cool if you
well,
did.
it is quite expensive, and like the waiting times now.
Yeah, they're backed up. Yeah, because everything's coming back
So
online. The
crazy, yeah.
production plants are way
Yeah,
behind. There's tons of reissues that big bands want to do on
absolutely.
for 35, 40 anniversaries. They want to do it on vinyl for whatever crazy reason, but they're backed up. The plants they're way in behind. So it's taking a
Yeah.
long time. We're reaching the
So,
37th, 38th anniversary of stuff by the time things get out.
yeah, it's
Might be a
unbelievable.
while.
Right?
Yeah. And people
Yeah.
are doing it on cassettes too, like regular audio cassettes. I'm waiting for 8-track to come back. That's going to be the next one.
Oh yeah, could be.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
could be.
yeah. I mean,
It's
it's like
possible.
it's fun. It's nice. I like something physical. I grew up with that stuff as
Yeah,
well.
me too. Oh,
I'm getting old
yeah, I
myself.
love it.
So it's like,
Yeah.
but, no, final is like you have to like wait at least like 6 months before you can actually pick it up or get it delivered. Like having it done.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. And 12 songs, it doesn't always fit. It might be a double vinyl, it might be a little bit longer if you want to get the right
yeah,
sound. There's a lot to go into it too. I like vinyl a lot, but I know production wise, it can be a bit of a hindrance. So
yeah.
it's good and
Well,
bad.
if the waiting times weren't so long, we probably would have thought about it. But what Wormhole also was insisting on, like, no, let's just go for a CD. It's
Yeah.
good enough. Let's go for that. And I don't know, just very happy with it. I think the next one would be also, I don't know. I would love to see it happening, but I don't think it will though.
Yeah, well, the main thing is they have a physical product out there. CD, I can't complain
Exactly.
about that. At least it's not just. I mean, it's good for people to get it on download because that's what people go to. But for
Yeah.
physical, there's a lot of people that love it, like myself and yourself. So glad that that's out there and people can get their hands on it.
Yeah. Exactly, man. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
correct me if I'm wrong. So you have maybe shows maybe coming up in 2023, but as a band, you guys have never played live together yet. Is that right?
no, it's just studio project, really. Yeah. Up until now. Yeah.
There's definitely a plan to. Would you say
Yeah.
2023 is kind of
That
the
is the goal.
goal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work on a new full length and get out there as fast as we can. Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you think you'd end up going? Would you stay around the Netherlands? Would you stay in Europe? Whereabouts would you go? How far would you be able to take it, do you think? I know it depends on promoters and how far you can go, but where would you like to go, I guess is what I'm asking.
I think we will travel anywhere, and I've got it doesn't matter. Like at least it should be planned good. That's why I want a booker. That's why I want a good booking agency, and I'm working on that. I know a lot of people through Focus because that's like a worldwide management and booking agency. I met a lot of
Right.
people like that. So um, I think we will start out as mainly opening acts on festivals, hopefully. I mean, this is
Mhm.
a new thing, so we would love to do that, like the bigger festivals. Let us open the gig, or maybe a little bit more up on the bill or whatever. But I can see that happening for sure. And
Yeah.
some clubs, like with a package.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of that, especially in the summer months and around Europe. That's
yeah,
a big market for festivals too. It's a good place for you guys if you can get on the bill somewhere, get your foot in the door. That'd be pretty
exactly.
good. Get
Yeah,
your
and there
get
is
some
there
eyes
is
on the band.
yeah, and there is some new
Yours.
Dutch. I know there's a new Dutch band coming up that's going to be pretty cool. Thinking about getting a package with them. I can't mention what that is yet, though. I think it's still a bit of a secret. But
Yeah. Stay tuned.
stuff like that. I think it will be like packages in the clubs, and just some slots on some good festivals. That would be great. Then we already would be happy. You know what I mean? And we're also pretty busy with well, mainly Martijn and I are very busy. Touring as well with our other You know, that's pretty busy as well. So we will
You
have
still tour with the other bands, so you still have an active
focus,
touring
yeah,
life then, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
Martijn is on tour in the States now with In Temptation. They're opening for Iron Maiden, right?
Yes, they are.
They've
Yeah,
been
Trivium was opening some of the dates, and now I believe
yeah,
Within Temptation is finishing that leg off. I think they start in October this month or towards the end of
yeah,
it now. Yeah, as we're
yeah. And then
recording this. Yeah.
Martijn and I
Sorry, I
will
missed that.
sorry?
I'm sorry I missed that show. It didn't come. It came close to me, but I missed it where
Oh,
I'm
okay.
at. Yeah, that
All right.
would have been a good show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what I heard about it was that they're having a great time, that's for sure, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and Ruud from Meditation and Martijn. Martijn also joined me. We're going to this memorial tour for like Ronnie James Dio here in Holland. That's in December.
Oh wow.
That's going to be a really cool show as well. Also with the drummer from Texas, Steph. So we're pretty busy like that. So for next year, we'll have to like plan, you know, very clearly like, okay, this is times that we can play. This is the weeks that we can play, and then just work together with a booking agency, see what we can do. You know what I mean? So
Well, let me ask you then,
yeah,
because you are a busy touring musician and you're busy obviously with other projects and stuff. Do you see Black Nazareth as a main priority as far as touring and recording? Is that going to be your main focus if it picks up, or do you see it still as a side project?
well, up until now, it is a bit of a side project, but I would love to see that like turn
Flip,
around.
yeah. You'd commit to that full time if it became a full time demand,
Yeah,
if it became a touring entity. If you could get booked, several shows, 60, 70, 80 shows a year, you would take it, is what you're saying?
there you go. I mean, it all depends a bit on like, you know, what the level of success is going to be, and you never can tell.
Right.
But as far as I'm concerned, if we can tour like, for a couple of weeks here and a couple of weeks there, then I'm already a happy camper, man.
Yeah.
As long as we can bring it to the people, then then it's fine with me, and we'll see what happens, you know what I mean? But I can assure you it's going to be a great show.
Oh yeah, for sure. If it ever comes, if I get close to that, or if it ever comes near my way, if it comes to North America, wherever you guys are going to be, I'm going to try and make my way there for sure. I can't miss it.
We'll stay in touch about that, Chad, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I know the band. What's that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the band doesn't have a huge history right now, so I want to kind of dig into you before I let you go for the afternoon. I want to know more about you as a musician. So tell me about where it all started for you. I know you've been in a bunch of bands, you've had a long career, but where did bass playing or the guitar playing, where did everything start for you? Where was your earliest influences?
The earliest influence, like many, kids from the 70s, it was Kiss. Kiss came into the house through television. Yeah. We only had like 3 channels, so it's like, what the hell is, you saw ABBA, Earth, Wind and Fire, and here comes this band that's just like very confusing to me.
Blowing things up, wearing makeup, a big stage show, look like clowns, but they have hard rock music. I know it's you don't know. It's Kiss.
I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I was like, I thought they were women. You know what I mean? It was very confusing.
Yeah.
It's the same what Gene Simmons says about the Beatles. Like, I don't know whether I liked it or not, but
you had to take notice.
It sounded exciting, and they had long hair.
Yeah.
Very confusing. So you kind of like, and then my older brother, he had all those records. So I really grew up with that old hard rock thing. And I must say, my first gig was actually played back in Kiss in kindergarten school. Really,
Oh wow!
But I was the drummer though. I wanted to be a drummer.
You want to be Peter Criss?
I was Peter Criss. Yeah. I really, yeah. But so and then I took classical piano lessons since I was 8, which is also that's, I don't know why. I think I just wanted to know how it works.
Right.
Because every kid was just banging on, and I was well, there must be something different to this, you know what I mean? So I did that for 10 years. And for guitar playing, the guitar playing was, I think I was like 14, 15. And I was always into rock and roll. I love music, always busy with music. That was the only thing that just mattered to me anyway. And it's the only thing that I wanted to be as well, Mm-hmm. I already knew it, that I was going to do that. Just didn't know how yet. But the guitar playing was, it sounds coincidental, kind of like, but I was in high school, and there was this girl, she wanted to like form a band, and I said, well, that's great. We were both into heavy metal, we were the weird kids with the badges and shit. I mean?
Of course.
And so, and then she said, and I said, well, I would like to play drums then. And she said, well, we already have a drummer though, so can you play guitar? I said, no, I cannot play guitar. Well, I will try it.
Yeah.
So and then I bought my dad bought an electric guitar from my teacher French, and that was the end of my high school career, man.
Do you remember what kind of guitar it was?
There was a Hondo, very cheap red Hondo guitar.
Oh,
I mean, it just went very fast. It came so naturally easy that and I figured out that I could actually just check out the songs that I liked and figure out myself how to play, you know.
right.
So I teach myself like that, just hours on, you know. And Jimi Hendrix was the first big
Okay.
guitar lesson for me,
Yeah.
and I just like check that out by ear, you know. Sometimes by a Guitar Player magazine, you know, Metallica, Motorhead, Van Halen. I checked Van Halen a lot, and then you know it all just seemed to work. I could do it.
Hmm.
So that's when you start, you know, and all your friends go like, "Wow, man, you know, you're really good at that, man," you know. And then it was for me, it was like, okay, this is it. I'm just, you know, I just fell asleep with that thing every night. And, that's the only thing that happened. And within like 2 years, 1 or 2 years, you know, I got to play in the first band that I had with my brothers and a guy called Patrick Harriman, who is also the leader of a thrash metal band called Usurper.
I've heard of that band.
There you go,
Yeah.
Usurper. I'm on their latest record as well, actually.
Oh
They
wow.
they, they just released a new record. Good, yeah, good stuff. It was called Moon of Sorrow, you know, and we put out a CD ourselves, and that got picked up pretty well. And then we had a record contract with that one, made a second album with them. You know, that's kind of like how it started out for me. Just you know, being in bands, you know, writing your own music and bringing out, you know, CDs back
Hmm.
then. And
Is this the early '90s? What year are we talking for that?
this is like early 90s. This is like 1991.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like 17 when that kind of started, 16, 17. So then I was just, you know, we were playing already. We were just doing it already, you know. And I just played with as much people that I could find, you know. So I was learning a lot. But then again, back then it was, you know, it all came from the streets, really, also, right? So
Yeah.
that also means that, you know, there's a certain attitude that surrounds it. And, you know, in the end, I thought, I don't think this is going to be like a long term, you know,
Even
thing.
at that point, at that young age. So I was going to ask you at 17, 16, 15, were your parents supporting you, what you were doing, or did
They
they
thought it
want you
was
to?
great. They thought it was great. They saw the talent. They knew it, you know, but they were also worried because I just fucked. I mean, my high school career, I never ended it. You know, I never got a degree for that.
Right.
You know, so of course they were worried. But you know, in the end, my dad said, you know, I don't care what you do, but please do something. You know.
No, that's cool that you had that support because a lot of parents would be upset. They wouldn't want you. They put pressure on you. Don't leave
Yeah,
high school, go to college, get an
yeah.
education. This music's never going to work, blah, blah, blah. So it's cool. It sounds like you had supportive parents, supportive dad.
In that sense, they were supportive. Yeah, but you know, it took a lot of tensions, and you know, we
Yeah.
had fights. You know what I mean? But so then it was like, you know, I must also add to that that when Joe Satriani and Steve Vai came out, that was a big thing when I was 16.
Mm.
Then I just went from like, you know, the hard rock blues things, you know, I just dived into that whole new school. And that worked as well. I could do it, you know, it was great. They were a big influence when I was 16. Satriani, most of it. Yeah. So, but
All
then
right.
I just came on this crossroads, like, what are you going to do? And I was like, okay, the only thing I could do and get a degree is go to like a conservatory and study there, like, you know, music college, you know,
Right. Right.
see what the professionals think about me. You know, do I, you know, will they give me a shot? You know what I mean? Let's
Yeah.
check it out, you know. And then, so when I was 17, I tried my first audition was classical piano. I thought I'd playing that for a longer time, so I'm probably better at it. Well, you know, and then it was only classical and jazz music, right?
Right.
So classical department. But you know, I walked in with my boots and long hair, and these people were shocked already by the sight of it. Like, you know, so like, what the hell's walking in?
Yeah. What are they getting? What are they getting? What are they getting
Yeah.
themselves
So,
into?
yeah.
Who's this guy? What's he gonna be able to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. Very funny. You
Yeah.
know, so that didn't work out. And then I was like, shit, okay, it has to be guitar. So I made a lot of noise playing on an audition for the jazz department,
No.
which was really
Nice.
funny. And
Yeah.
the great thing was they said, well, you know, you can play guitar, man. You know, you really can, but it's not jazz. So here's a teacher, come back next year. And that's what
Yeah.
I did. Studied jazz, fell in love with Joe Pass. Wes Montgomery, and players like that.
Mhm.
So, and then I just went through that. I went to conservatory, did it for 5 years, and within those years, something developed. And then I got discovered by Thijs van Leer of Focus when I was 20. And from that moment on, it's
Yeah, you never know what kind of path, what doors, and it was good. You wanted to expand your musical horizons. You could have just stuck with the hard rock, could have stuck with the progressive metal. You could have done everything like that, but you wanted to kind of explore different territories, different genres, the blues, the
yeah.
jazz, the stuff like that. Make yourself more well rounded. That's pretty cool.
It was a big struggle though, Jazz. I had to like really work hard for it, but that's a good thing. I really went through those identity crises that you get, when you actually find out, oh shit, man, I'm actually not that good, you know.
You want to figure out what you're doing, figure out your sound as a guitarist,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So that
Makes
was,
sense.
yeah. So that was a really very good time for me, like development wise. So, and then I just ended up being a session musician for, acts here in Holland and famous artists and stuff, quite anonymously. But I just kind of like ended up doing that while also touring with Trinity, the
Mm.
death metal band. And I toured with I did lots of different things like pop music, rock music, metal,
Oh
hip hop,
wow,
touring through Germany with some hip hop crew and just like everything I could get
wow.
my hands on, like,
It
business cards,
sounds
weddings, you learn
Yeah,
how to,
yeah. So
you
it
learn
sounds
how,
like you've had your whole career in music. You haven't done anything else in your whole career. You support yourself on music, playing different
I can
genres,
say,
writing, recording.
yeah, I must say I won the lottery because, every euro, pound, dollar I make it with a guitar in my hands,
All right, that's cool.
So,
A
and
lot of
that's
people
really
will kill for that. A lot of musicians have day jobs. They don't get to do that. They have to go work at
exactly,
Walmart and they have to go home and play
exactly.
guitar at night or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
So that's cool.
I'm one lucky son of a bitch, man. It's true, it's really true. And what else happened? A lot of stuff happened. Playing with Thijs van Leer, leading up to first reunion of Focus, I got a lot of attention from that. So that's kind of like, and then they asked me to teach at the conservatory myself, like
Oh wow.
so. I'm still doing that, like, one day a week. So I'm teaching all these young professionals now. It's really cool. I also work for the Rock Academy, which is a similar kind of college.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to ask you about that on your profile. What the Rock Academy was.
The Rock Academy is, it's the same kind of thing. It's a professional education in music.
Yeah.
It's set up a bit differently. Conservatory is really more about, learning to play really good, also to be creative, but it's more kind of like a session thing. They've got a new pop department that we developed back then. It's not even new anymore, but we also have like a pop department where I teach then.
Okay.
The Rock Academy is a bit different. They it's kind of like you study your main instrument, and then after 1 year, you can choose different domains, like a teacher thing, where you get like real professional education in becoming a teacher,
Right,
or
right.
work in the music business like management. And they really just have the right people to teach you that over there, so that it's a bit more specialized, and you'll always just end up having a bachelor in two things really, either guitar and the sound engineer, or a guitar player and a producer, and or a guitar player and a teacher for high schools, music teachers, setting up your own company, stuff like that. A lot of them, they just end up working also for like record companies and publishing companies, and so it's a bit more of a
Yeah.
different setup, but just as successful really, just in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I said, it sounds you've got a lot of things on the go. You've had a lot of things come in your lap, and you've had a lot of opportunities. So it's very cool to hear.
Yeah.
Have you yourself or the band Black Nazareth specifically? Have you guys done a lot of interviews, press for this music, or has Wormhole Death been putting stuff out there for you? What's been going on as far as media
They've been putting
presentation?
out ads. They've put out, I got quite some interview requests that I already did. So yeah, it's been okay actually. Yeah, it's just I don't know remember exactly which ones, but we had like a big feature in like a Rock Hard magazine, or I think it's still coming out. It's a big interview. Power Play UK, they gave it like a 10 out of 10. There's going to be an interview with them as well.
Oh wow, that's good.
I did a couple of those. Yeah, yeah, which is
That's
really
good
good.
to hear that print media. Like I know there's the Rock Hard magazine. There's the one in Germany. I think there's one in Japan as well too. That's an
Yeah, I
English
know. Yeah,
magazine. But it's good that the European media is picking up on you guys and wanting to talk to you guys. Rock
oh yeah,
Candy Records as well has a magazine in the UK, which is pretty
yeah,
good. I hear as well.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
actually. I know that one.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, we're working on it. Working on it. Just I'm just waiting for like a couple of. You have the Dutch Aardschok Metal Hammer magazine. I'm just waiting for
Oh,
them.
yes.
I think like the review is still that's gonna come up in the next issue. I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
yeah, waiting for them. So yeah, it's all right, man. It's cool. Yeah, I'm glad it's being picked up more now. It's just a good thing.
Yeah, it's good. Well, it's good to have a record label behind you. It's good to have someone who, like
Definitely.
a management company that believes in you, that wants to put your music out there, that wants to get, and they're aggressively doing that too. There's always stuff about, like I see ads, I see stuff. They're always
Yeah,
putting emails out to. I get a lot of the emails, like I said, from them. So Black
yeah, they're
Nazareth,
really
every
good.
time you guys have a new single, they're already sending out the lyric video or the video or the song, the MP3, right? So they're always
Yeah,
pushing
they're
it out
really
there.
working it.
It's
They're
good.
really working it. And they're very good.
Yeah.
They're really doing it. It's really great. It's good to see that, man.
I
Yeah.
want I wanted to ask you too. I haven't seen them, but have you guys done any videos for it, like actual proper videos for any of the songs?
No, we haven't. No, just lyric videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there plans to do proper videos?
Well, we haven't talked about it yet, but I think we should at least with like a new album. We should. Yeah. It might be nice to maybe pick out one of these tracks to do something extra with that. I mean, that is actually a good idea.
I know it's not the same. I mean, there's not MTV, there's not MTV Europe anymore. It's just YouTube. But I mean, there's people going on YouTube and they're checking things out. They're going to check out the lyric video if they saw you guys, doing
Yeah.
something in a concept. You can make videos cheap these days, I hear. So it's
Yeah, it's true.
possible. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to
There's
like
pros and cons for that. It's
yeah.
from what I've heard from musicians anyway.
Well, I think it would be just, what's more important. Yeah, what's important now is that they're actually going to be able to see the band, see the
Yeah.
band really, which would be a good thing actually to do that in a video also. So, yeah, but I will speak to Henry tonight, so,
That
we
fast.
can we can plan
Right
stuff
on it.
out a
Hey,
little bit. Yeah,
we need to
yeah.
do a video. I need to get my guitar. We need to start dancing. We need to we need to make a big
Yeah,
production.
exactly.
I want to dance around with my guitar.
We're going to dye our hair blonde and get some perm going and shit.
Yeah, get some fire and some makeup and some heels. Oh wait, that's already been done. Oh yeah.
Jesus, yeah. But that's
Do
going to be
you?
fun. That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, that's cool. Do you? This is a hard question maybe to ask because it's like picking children. But do you have a favorite or favorite batch of songs on the record? Ones you're most proud of? Which one would you point to if someone said, "Hey, tell me about your band, Black Nazareth. What's the song? What song do you think best represents the record or you guys?"
Wow. I need to check. I need to check. I'm gonna look at it
You're
right
gonna look
now.
at the track list, and I should have done that too. I could have I could have pointed out the
I
ones
mean, of course,
that I liked.
I know the track list, but it's hard to choose.
Heroes was the first one I heard. Then it was Cold as Stone, and then it was
Yeah,
Rallying Cry, which is fantastic. It's just admittedly that's all I've heard from the record so far,
yeah.
but it's just
I
and the
think
sorrow as well. But
I think the rallying cry probably does represent the band.
that's a great chorus. That's a great anthematic song. That's
Yeah,
amazing. It surprised me when I heard it. It was the third song I heard, and I was like, wow, they're going in so many different directions. They're hitting all the classic sounds.
I
It's a
think
good
in
way to describe it.
general, I would say that's the one that really just shows what it's about, really. And it's like one of the latest ones we actually put out, right? That's like
Okay.
Drops of Sorrow is the last one, but
Hmm.
Rallying Cry was the one before that, and I think that one worked out. Yeah, it just really represents what we do. Personally, I would say, yeah, well, Rivers Run Deep. I really like that. It was the first one that we put out there back then.
That was the first. That was the first song, "River Runs Deep," that you
That
guys
was
put
the
out.
first one we brought out, yeah. And
Okay. First one I
so
heard was Heroes. So that's the first time
Heroes,
I ever
yeah,
heard your band. Yeah,
Heroes
which
is
is
good.
great.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
But to me, I think the lyrics they really just mean a lot to me. And Waiting for Tomorrow is actually the same. It's crazy. I said that this in another interview as well, but somehow Henry and Daniel seem to just come up with lyrics that are really representing what I'm going through, like kind of, or just went through or something like that. It's really weird. It's almost like a subconscious level of leveling like that. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like a good chemistry between you guys as well
Yeah,
as a band, which is relatively a new band and relatively new that you guys are all getting together because you could have got together in this project and like, oh, this guy sucks. I hate this guy. I can't stand his personality. You know, it
yeah.
could implode, right? Especially when you
True.
guys get together in one spot in one
Well, I'll tell
studio.
you. Yeah. Well, you can only say. Yeah. You can only know how it's going to work out personally when you've been on the road for about a month. So
Yeah, well, we'll get there. Yeah. So maybe by the time
I'll tell you that. You
by the
know.
time we talk in 2023, like, oh, we went and did one show. I couldn't stand him. He can't play live. I walked on it. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad we had this
Touch
talk.
my beer. You
Not to
asshole.
curse you guys, but you know what I'm saying. A
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
bands don't play live. They don't get a chance to because of whatever reason. They're not all in the same country and not in the same city. They just
True.
can't find,
True.
they can't find a tour. They can't get booked. Let's be honest about it too. It's hard. There's so many tours out there right now.
Yeah. It is hard. It
Yeah.
is hard. But you know, we're just gonna push through, man. You know, I'm sure about that. Yeah. But yeah, Rallying Cry. I think that's the one that's really, it's an
Yeah,
old.
that'd be great live. I was gonna say that too. If you played that live, that would be a crowd pleaser for sure.
Yeah. And the thing is that Ride actually had the most plays. That one was pretty
Yeah,
popular when that came
really.
out. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's got the most plays actually on the platforms. Yeah, I like that song as well. It's more like rock. It's more, yeah.
Hmm. Do you find you're getting, maybe you would know this too, do you find you're getting more attention on the streaming services versus album sales or on the radio? Like it's the radio itself. Where do you think your biggest audience is coming from?
Wow, that's a good question, and I should ask Henry about that, to be honest, because he really keeps track of those things.
To see kind of where the people are, like the age group kind of thing would tell you
I
that too,
think
because
I think we had, uh, from what I remember, the last time he showed me, I think we have the most listeners in Brazil and England, I think.
well, it's a big metal community there too, so that's no surprise
Yeah,
to
I
me.
love Brazil. I love
Yeah,
South America, period, man. I mean,
it's a
I've been,
big
been
market
there,
for metal. Yeah.
yeah, been there a couple of times, man. And wow, yeah, that's a metal heaven, man, for
Where's the
sure.
farthest that you've been on tour with any band? Where's the farthest you've gone around the world?
With Focus, we played Japan. That was pretty far.
Oh
We did
yeah.
Japan, and we did South America a couple of times. I did a couple of runs there, a couple of weeks, just going through all the countries, and
Oh wow.
mostly Brazil. That's like the most far that I've been. America's Florida. That's actually a little bit more nearby. Doing the rock cruise, rock cruise, the yes cruise to the edge.
Oh, you're on Cruise to the Edge with folk. Oh, okay. That was last
Couple of
year.
times already.
That was
No, not
2020.
last year.
What year was that?
Oh man, that was the one before COVID we did, and I did one the year before that as well. And then they played there. I think we did it 3 times with Focus now. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow, that's
They're
kind of
playing out
cool.
there. It's great stuff. A lot of fun. Yeah. And the weirdest place is probably the Faroe Islands between
Okay.
Iceland and and the UK. That's
Yeah.
like, wow, man. That's like a special place, man. That's like it's got the shortest landing strip in the whole world.
Oh
You wouldn't
really?
believe what you're experiencing when
The
you land
plane
on.
comes in, it's got to hurry up and get to the. It's
Oh
got
my
to get
god!
to the edge. You just got to pull up a hard stop, or it's gonna hit the.
Oh my god!
Hopefully,
That's
there's not a wall there.
yeah.
Oh, go straight down.
Oh my god! Almost.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
that was
that's
quite a
crazy. I
bit.
can't even imagine that. I can't even envision that. That's crazy.
So many storms out there. Sometimes people have to sleep in the airport because they cannot leave. You know what I mean? Because of the storms going on there, man. It's a crazy place.
Yeah.
So, but that was, yeah, it's pretty special. Yeah, done a lot of visited a lot of special places with Focus. Yeah.
Talk to me a bit about the cruising because I've always wanted to hear more about what it's like to play as a band on a cruise versus the on land gigs. There's a lot of cruises. There's a Monsters of Rock cruise, obviously. There's a Cruise to
Yeah.
the Edge. The different
Yeah.
bands have different Kiss cruises out right now.
Oh
Woo.
yeah. No.
So, what's it like playing on a cruise versus actual shore gigs? What's different about it? What do you like about it? If you like
Uh,
anything,
well, it's bands and fans really. It's like it becomes more
it's
of a
very
community.
intimate. Everybody's right there.
Well, it becomes more of a community.
Yeah.
So it is one big party like that. And it's just great to meet up with all these great artists that play there. Getting to hang out with uh the guys from Dream Theater. Getting
Yes.
to hang out with
Yeah.
Tony.
Portnoy's been on that a lot with his bands, his different projects too.
Yeah,
Petrucci was there actually last year. Yeah.
yeah, Portnoy is always there playing also.
Yep. Yeah,
But
he's with his 15
you know,
different bands he's got. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah, yeah.
I met Tony McAlpine there, which
Oh,
used to be
nice.
a hero of mine.
Yeah.
Such a great guy. And just stuff like that. Steve Hackett, who
Yep.
well, I already knew Steve, but uh, the guys from Yes, just all those artists that you've been listening to as a kid. It's
Yeah.
like really great. Billy Sheehan, you're in bed
Yes.
with Billy.
Who plays with Portnoy? Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Sons of Apollo thing. So
Yes.
I mean, that's just that's the big fun for me. John Etheridge from Soft Machine, a great guy,
Hmm.
great guitar player. Just heroes like that, and you just get to hang out with them, getting to know them. So you become more like a colleague of them, which is a huge honor for me.
Were you on the same? Were you on the same cruise that Michael Sadler was on? He's the band in a band Saga. That's actually from here in
No, yeah,
Canada.
I've
Have
been,
you?
yeah, the last one was actually I
Was he
did
on?
Saga, yeah.
Okay.
I
Cool.
got to drink a lot with their guitar player. Yeah,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
was.
Amazing.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Saga, so that was a big treat for
That's
me.
Canada's own Saga. That's pretty cool. They're still out there. That's
Oh my
cool.
god, man,
Yeah. Michael
that's a
Sadler's
great,
still keeping that together. That's cool.
yeah, it's just great band, yeah. So that's just a big honor for me, man. And the other side to it though is that you're at sea for 5 days.
Yeah.
Good stuff. You sail to Mexico and stuff like this. Great, of course. Nice weather. But the thing is, you have like 2 shows in a week.
Right. And then you're off at the pool,
Shows
you're
like
in your
for one
cabin,
hour.
you're
You know what I
drinking,
mean?
you're hanging out with the fans, you're doing whatever you want to do, right? It's hard to get away, but you can have a lot of fun there too if you want to, if you're so inclined.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you get
But the
off the
thing,
ship for a bit too.
yeah, but the thing is, so you have like you do one show at the deck, you know what I mean? And you do one show like inwards.
Yep.
The rest of the time, I'm telling you, man, you're just, you're just drinking and eating
Yeah.
all the time. It's like, after 5 days, you're just totally stuffed and
You stumble
hungover.
off the ship. Yeah, exactly. You can't wait to find land quick enough at that point. Maybe you don't want to find it, you might hit it too hard.
Well, yeah. But I mean, what can I say? It's a big treat, and we
Yeah,
get,
yeah.
you get like the luxury cabins, and you just have your own little balcony, and it's just, my God, man, it's a big treat.
Well,
Definitely.
here's hoping that Black Nazareth can get on Monsters of Rock, because that would fit on a Monsters of Rock cruise. That would be a good package, I think, for sure, when
Oh
it
my
goes
God.
out. It's sailing. I think it's in February or March of next year. You may not get that one, but it goes every year,
No, I think, yeah,
excluding COVID.
I
So
know. I
yeah,
think we better just opt for like the next one, really, because this is going to be too early to do that
yeah. I
again.
don't know how quick they how advanced they do the booking, but yeah, that'd be it.
Uh,
It would
but
be
the
a perfect venue, a perfect
yeah,
platform for you guys,
definitely. The Monsters
and you
Rock
have the
would be
experience
great.
on a
Yeah,
cruise. Yeah.
and maybe the 70,000 tons of metal cruise would be.
Yes, I forgot about that one too. Does that one still sail? I don't know if that one still goes out. I don't
I'm
remember
not
that one.
sure. I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but
There's so many cruises that come and go. There was Def Leppard did one year and that never happened again. There was a Rock and Brews one that never went out after 1 year. It's everyone does a cruise, they try it, and if they lose their pants on it, then they don't do it again, right?
no, of
So
course, I
yeah,
mean, it is quite a financial,
yeah,
venture that you're working
exactly.
on,
Especially coming out of COVID too. But you don't know
Yeah,
what can happen, right? So
yeah, that's true. That's why, I mean, COVID was one of the reasons still that, Focus didn't want to go there yet.
right, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, the last one, so yeah.
Did you keep busy during that time? Like you mentioned the lockdown, obviously, and a lot of Europe got hit pretty hard, Italy especially. But over where
Yeah.
you guys were hit maybe kind of hard as well too. Were you yourself able to stay busy as far as creating? Were you working on different projects in the studio and kind of keeping yourself financially
Oh,
supported?
um, maybe not as much as I would have liked to, but I mean, we did the Black Nazareth thing,
Right.
that's great. I kept busy teaching online with the 2 colleges, right? So that occupied me for at least 2 days a week, which is, that keeps your head a bit straight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, after a year, it was like, okay, I'm making substantial less money than I'm supposed to here. So
Nothing wrong with that.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like I just needed to make more money. So I was like, what I'm going to do, I'm going to like put out an ad and see if I can get some more, students online,
Right.
and that worked.
Yeah. Because
So
everybody turned online, as we know, right? This is why everyone's using Zoom now. I mean, it like became a
yeah,
big thing in COVID times, right? Because everyone had to everyone had to still
yeah,
communicate. We had to reach out.
Yeah.
everything happened online. It was still education. That's part of it, right? So you're doing your teaching online. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So, and fans liked that a lot. So, you know, that was a good thing, and it was quite
Yeah.
good business. So, I spent my time on that as well, in the evenings, and meanwhile, just writing for Black Nazareth, trying to write for my own album, which I'm working on, which is also gonna come out somewhere next year, which is great. Really looking forward to that.
That's a solo album. Is that with you just playing guitar? Is it instrumental, or
Mostly,
what's
mostly,
happening with that one?
mostly guitar stuff with a couple of songs with vocals on them.
Do you sing as well?
I don't. No, I can do backings a bit though. I learned to like do that with all the session work
Right.
back then. I
Yeah.
had to keep my job.
To lay down some rough
It was a
demos. Yeah.
necessity, really. But yeah, I
Yeah.
can do that. I'll probably will with Black Nazareth though. Yeah, I'll probably will be doing that. Yeah. Now I have some guest vocalists coming in.
Okay. That's very
It's going to
cool.
be I have some pretty cool guests. It's going to be really cool, and some acoustic stuff. That I've been writing,
Okay.
and one acoustic cover, which that's going to be a really nice one. I cannot tell you what that is, but there's some really, it's going to be pretty eclectic, that album.
That's cool.
It's
Is it
more
going to
like
come out? Is it going to come out under your own name or with a band name, or
still working that
still
out.
working that out?
There's a
Okay.
couple of options. So, first I just need to finish it, and then I'll probably find out what exactly I'm going to do with it. It's pretty eclectic. It's more like progressive music, really, mostly, and also, but more in the metal
Okay.
rock sense than the symphonic kind of thing. So yeah,
That's
I'm
very
really looking
cool.
forward to that. Yeah, not sure if I can, I will be able to perform live with that stuff, but I just at least I want to have it out there and
Right.
something like that as well, build that up.
Like another aspect, another facet to
Yeah,
your repertoire. Exactly. I'm going to assume that's a book collection back there for people who are watching the video. That's,
booklet. Oh
is that
yeah.
books behind you? Yeah.
Oh my god, I need to order that shit because this
Yeah.
is like.
I was going to ask you which one is your favorite book that you're reading right now, but it looks like they've either all been read or none of them have been read.
Well, actually, no. It's like I've got this second-hand book from Isaac Asimov, where he actually compiled some of his favorite old science fiction short stories from all these old magazines, like from early last century.
Oh wow.
That's
That's a
really
book that you
cool.
have back there. It's a compilation of that.
Over here.
Yeah,
Actually, it's
is it there?
upstairs. It's
Oh,
no,
okay.
I
It's
don't
not
have it
there.
there.
Okay.
Yes, but I
That's
mean,
what you're reading currently though, is the one
Kiss
upstairs.
section. Got a
Yeah.
Kiss section here. Cool stuff. Bach, music stuff. Elton John's autobiography.
Oh, nice.
Lots of albums upstairs. You know, Gustav Jung, Carl Jung. Yeah, it's like spiritual stuff there a bit.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
For people who are watching the video, they can see this. If they're going to listen to the audio podcast, they have no idea what we're doing, but that's okay. I encourage people to watch this. If you're listening down the road, go watch the video. You're going to see what Menno is showing you here.
Really cool. Like Asimov, really cool.
And
But
now
this
he's
is
showing
all
Isaac
new.
Menno. Okay, there we go. Asimov, yeah.
Yeah, the foundation novels. Yeah, that's like the last thing I was really into. He is actually quite the founder of some ideas. It's very interesting.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's
Actually, I
cool.
think he's like the biggest influence on Elon Musk as well. Actually, one of
Oh,
his
really? Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Didn't know that.
yeah. He's trying to copy Harden from the Foundation novels.
Oh,
Really
well.
cool.
Well, he's doing a good job. Something's working.
We actually won this first big literature prize over Tolkien. They were both actually nominated, just the two of them.
Oh, wow. Really?
And Asimov actually won, and the thing is, it never got like filmed. It's really weird.
Really? Yeah. You never know. Speaking of books and biographies, though, that's a question I can ask you. I wanted to for the future. I mean, you've had such a long career, by the sounds of it. We touched on a bit of it here, and there's so much more to come. Your story's not over, but do you see yourself sitting down, pen to paper one day, writing about your experiences? Not like a tell-all, but like a biography about your life.
Well,
Does that have any interest for you?
it would be interesting, but that'll just all depend on like, are people waiting for that stuff? I'm not sure. I don't think I cannot imagine that right now, but it would depend on mostly that really, will people be interested in actually reading about this? They probably will. There's some really good stories about, also famous people and shit. So, I mean, it could be nice, but there should be a publisher actually really, believe in it. I wouldn't go about that like independently. Then it would be through if a publisher would like to publish such a thing, then I will start to believe in that as well.
Right. Just to get your
But not,
story out there, like I said, not so much just to tell all about famous people, but if about you or your story, something a legacy for your family or for when you're
yeah,
older, right? And when you're done on the back end of your career, kind of thing.
yeah. Well, you can write that stuff down anyway, for people.
Right.
But if I would think about a book, I always like to think a bit bigger than, so then I would like to love to see it as being actually published and, out there on the web stores and all that shit.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
then, so we'll see about that. I don't know. It just depends on if people are waiting for that stuff.
Yeah. No, I hear you for sure.
It would make something interesting. I'm sure about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
Well,
see.
a couple more things and I'll let you go for real this time when
Yeah,
Zoom.
my daughter's coming up in 10 minutes, I think. So
Okay. So one thing I want to ask you too, you mentioned it kind of very briefly. I thought maybe you might mention a little bit more, but of course, as we all know, coming from where you are in the Netherlands and Holland, you have a very famous guitarist that, of course, we've lost in the last couple of years, Eddie Van Halen. For those who don't
yeah,
know, what
yeah.
kind of you mentioned him briefly, but what kind of influence has he had on you as a kid growing up, as playing his music? What kind of,
Oh
or has he
man,
had any?
my God, man, I never forget the first time I heard "Women and Children First." That was the first thing I heard. It was like that was played at a friend's house. Couldn't believe it. It was so exciting. I was like, Jesus, what the hell is, I just loved it. And that's even before I started playing guitar. Just loved that whole band. So I've been a huge fan since I was like probably 8, 9 years old.
Did you hear when it first came out in 1980? Would you have been
No,
that age?
uh, the Women and Children First, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's the one. That's the one I
yeah,
heard first.
yeah. You heard it when
And
it came
I was
out
like,
first in 80? Wow,
yeah. And
nice.
then I saw the record cover and I was like, I know that guy. I've seen his face, and of course, that's like, I just knew him for so, and so I became intrigued, and then the whole guitar playing and shit. It was just like um, very exciting. So I've been a fan of Van Halen like ever since. Really, I just love it. It's big rock and just phenomenal guitar playing. He really just kicked it into the 80s, man.
Hmm.
It's just that was that like the new school. So once I started out playing guitar, I actually really checked him out, you know, but mostly for the riffs, strangely enough.
Yeah, people don't talk a lot about that too. They talk about his solos, the tapping, of course, the
Yeah,
keyboards that he plays, but a
yeah,
lot of people don't talk and forget about the riffs that are in those songs, those big, huge riffs, and "Running with the Devil" and
yeah.
"Hot for Teacher." Like that's crazy one. "House of Pain." Like there's so many underrated stuff, and in the Sammy
Well,
era
the
too.
riffs
But
are so exciting to play, and when you
yeah,
start out, you cannot immediately like start tapping, and you just don't know what's happening there yet. I just figured that out a little bit later.
yeah.
you know. But I remember like, Running with the Devil, the solo, that's like the first time that I actually played an arpeggio kind of thing on the guitar. And I was like,
Oh
wow,
wow,
really cool,
nice.
big
Yeah.
steps. I'm just skipping, where you're not skipping strings, but you have to like really, you
Move
know,
your hand around and yeah,
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 you know what I mean? So that
fingers.
was
Yeah.
very exciting. And that's one of the solos that I actually could figure out a bit, but the rest came later on though. But I was just mainly jamming along with the songs, and the
Hmm.
riffs. Yeah. But big influence, especially when I started out playing guitar. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
of Dutch heritage, did you have that connection, feeling that here's a guy from who's Dutch, who's made it so far and has done so much? Did you feel like sense of pride in that
Uh,
as a fellow countryman?
uh, not that much. I'm more like, I don't know. It's like, we're all world citizens in the end. You know what I mean? So, but of course it's special. I never knew it in the beginning. I never knew they were Dutch until this interview, like on Countdown, I think it was here on television.
Oh, really?
Then I was like, oh wait, they come from Amsterdam. Oh
Yeah.
my God, it made it more
They left
exciting.
early. They grew up in California. They left
I
pretty
know,
early, but they
I
they
know.
spoke Dutch and they yeah,
You can still talk Dutch, and I was like,
yeah,
that made it more exciting for me, though. Of course, like
yeah,
okay, so we went all over to, and I mean, it did make me think about it a little bit later on. Like maybe I should actually try to. I didn't have the guts, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't have the guts to do it. So so then it was like, okay, you know, get a professional music education, you know.
Yeah,
I was a
which
bit
you've done.
scared of actually traveling back then. I was actually, yeah. So
Yeah. No, it's very
but
cool.
no, Van Halen, yeah, definitely, man. Jesus, that's yeah.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't let you go without asking about Van Halen. Of course, coming from where you do, I had to ask people, want to know how you feel.
Yeah, I think he is the best in my book, next to Alan Holdsworth.
Oh wow, okay,
In
very cool.
both of them in a different way.
Hmm.
I think Alan Holdsworth was also his favorite guitar player. I know that.
I think that's where I've heard the name from. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's coming back to me now. He's mentioned that in interviews when he's done them in the past, who some of his influences were, and that's a name that came up. I do believe you're right.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well, we lost him too a couple
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, exactly. You never know what's coming up, but we know what's coming up for you. You mentioned, of course, you're a busy guy. You have the teaching, you have more Black Nazareth music coming up. You have potentially shows, fingers crossed, in
Yeah.
2023 somewhere. Your
And I'll be
own
on the
solo
road.
album. You got lots
I'll
to
be on
talk.
the road.
Yeah, I look forward to talking to you again, and we can hear what's happening next year and seeing where we're going. If you're going to do some shows, I want to hear about how the actual shows went when they do happen. I say
Yeah,
when,
we'll just stay in
and your
touch.
solo record too. Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
man. I
I'm
want to
going
hear
to
more
be
about it.
touring- I'm going to be touring first with, well, actually, the Ronnie James Dio Memorial Tour in Holland. You know, 10
Yes.
shows, December, January. Before that, I'll be touring in the UK with Focus. You can catch me there.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, and after that, it's more touring. And you know, I just really want to. What I'm going to make happen is that we'll be playing with Black Nazareth as well. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a website where people can check out your itinerary for tours? Do you have something like that on social?
You will have to check www.focustheband.com.
Okay.
You will get a whole list. There's Focus the Band 50 in digits on
Mhm.
Facebook and Instagram. Blacknazareth.com. You can find Black Nazareth on Instagram, Facebook as well. All those platforms. The Dio shows also have their own Facebook, but you will see them on my personal pages. So, you know, please check in on my personal Facebook. Menno, it's just my name, Menno Gootjes, Dutch name, Gootjes, or the same name on Instagram. Either one of those, and you will find the gigs and everything that's going on.
Okay, that's good. So people can check it out,
I'm
either or
ready
the
for our
bands or your
website.
name. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
you have a band or website under your own name. You're gonna have to if you start putting the solo records out there. You're gonna have to start
yeah,
getting a
well,
discography going
yeah,
and
well,
tour dates. Yeah.
that is the idea, Chad.
Yeah.
To get my own product out and just get a good design for that.
For sure. Well, people check out when you're listening to this, check out the websites, check out Instagram, check out Twitter, check out your personal Facebook for Black Nazareth, check everything out and go sample the music, check it out like I did. And you're going to be a fan, I promise you. And talking to you more now, it makes me even more a fan. So I'm glad to have it.
All right, man. Thank you very much, Chad.
Awesome, man. Thank you again. Stay in touch. We'll talk again.
All right, mate.
Take care, Menno.
You too, Chad.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Hear the revolt of the ugly masses.